Good day everyone. Today I'm going to present our introduction about HTML or Hypertext Markup Language and CSS Cascading Style Sheets are fundamental technologies for creating and designing websites. HTML is responsible for the structure and content of a web page, while CSS defines the visual style and presentation of the element on the page. Together, they form the foundation of a web development and enable the creation of visually appealing and user-friendly websites. As all are familiar with web pages and websites, do you know how these pages are created and displayed? We started developing HTML language for sharing information on the World Wide Web. So, HTML or Hypertext Markup Language is the language used to create and display websites on the internet. It was developed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1991 and has been the primary language for web pages and development ever since. This report will explore the origin of HTML, its applications, and key concepts. For the history of HTML, HTML was created by Sir Tim Berners-Lee in late 1991 but was not released officially, which was published in 1995 as HTML 2.0. HTML 4.01 was published in late 1999 and was a major version of HTML. HTML, an evolving markup language, has improved user experience by making web page creation easier and more efficient with each updated version. HTML 1.0, released in 1993, aimed to share readable, accessible information via web browsers, but due to limited developer involvement, the language growth was slow. HTML 2.0, published in 1995, incorporated all HTML 1.0 features and refined core HTML features, remaining the standard markup language for website design until January 1997. Dave Raggett introduced HTML 3.0, introducing improved features for webmasters, but browsers slowed down in applying further improvements. HTML 4.01, a widely used version, preceded HTML 5.0, an extended version released in 2012 which is widely used worldwide. The history of HTML has numerous milestones since its inception in the early 1990s. Tim Berners-Lee, often called the father of the web, created HTML in 1991 to make the exchange of information over the web more accessible. Since then, HTML was continuously evolved as a markup language, with each version adding new features and improvements. The latest version, HTML5, was released in 2012 and has become standard markup language for web page design. Today, HTML remains an essential component of the web ecosystem, powering millions of websites and applications around the globe. This is a simple HTML document. Doctype HTML1 defines the document to be HTML5. HTML1 Root element of an HTML page. Head contains meta information about the document. Title page title. This one specify a title for the document. Body contain the visible page content. First heading defines large heading. P, my first paragraph, define a paragraph. And so on. Body HTML. HTML tags element name surrounded by angle brackets. This is the example. The element names surrounded by angle brackets. HTML tags are essential to the structure of a web page. They are words or phrases that surrounded specific content, indicating the browser how the content should be displayed. There are many different types of tags, including heading, paragraphs, lists, and images. Each tag is represented by a pair of angle brackets and tells the browser how the content should be displayed. Web browsers. The purpose of a web browser is to read HTML documents and display them. The browser does not display the HTML tag, but uses them to determine how to display the document. A web browser is like a translator for a foreign language. When you go to a website, the browser reads the HTML code, the language, and translates it into a format that you can see and interact with on the screen. But just like a translator won't show you the original language, the browser does not display the HTML code. Instead, it uses it to determine how to display the images and so on. So, it's the browser job to make the website look pretty and easy to use for you.
HTML editors. Web page can be created and modified by using professional HTML editors. Examples: Notepad. Notepad, make sure to select all files as the file type and choose a location on your computer to save the file. Next, Text Edit. Text Edit, make sure to select all files too as the file type and choose a location on your computer to save the file. Next, Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code, a free open source code editor developed by Microsoft that offers advanced features such as syntax highlighting, code compilation, and debugging tools. Writing HTML using Notepad. Step 1. Open Notepad. If you don't have Notepad installed, you can use the regular Notepad application that comes with Windows. Step 2. Write the HTML step. Begin with the basic structure of an HTML document, which includes the doc type HTML, HTML, head, and body tags. Step 2. Save the HTML page. Use HTML or HTML as extension name. For example, you can name your file mypage.html like that. Make sure to select all files as the file type and choose a location on your computer to save the file. Step 4. Click Run. Launch in Firefox. Like browser depends on what installed in the computer. Open the HTML page in a browser, click on the Run menu in Notepad and select Launch in Firefox of your default browser. Basic formatting tags. Heading defined with the H1 to H6 tags where H1 defines the most important heading. defines the most important heading. Example, preceding 1, preceding 2, preceding 3. Heading 1, shape plus alt plus 1. Heading 2, shape plus alt plus 2. Heading 3, shape plus alt plus 3. Paragraph defines with the tag and sample. Each paragraph is enclosed within the P tags, which helps in structuring the content on the web page. Links defined with the A tag. In this example, the A tag creates a hyperlink that when you click it, will take the user to the second page HTML. The text second page is what will be displayed as a clickable link. Image defined with the IMG tag. In this example, the IMG tag is used to embed an image in the web page. The SRC attribute specifies the path, the image file, and the alt attribute provides a description of the image, which is useful for accessibility and in case the image fails to load. List defined with the alt or another valid list, or the all another valid list, tag followed by tags or list item. HTML lists are used to group a collection of items together, and they can be either ordered from an order. An ordered list, also known as a bulleted list, is defined using the alt tag, and each list item is presented by the lead tag. The list items are marked with bullets. Empty HTML elements. First, an HTML elements usually consist of a start tag and end tag with the content inserted in between. Next, HTML elements with no content are called empty elements. Next, BR is empty element without a pausing tag. The tag defines a line break. In HTML, an element usually consists of start tag and end tag with the content inserted in between. However, there are some elements that don't have any content, and these are called empty elements. HTML attributes. Attributes provide additional information about HTML elements. First, all HTML elements can have attributes. Second, attributes provide additional information about an element. Third, attributes are always specified in the start tag. And last, attributes usually come in name, value pairs like name, value. Attributes provide additional information about HTML elements. They give more context or meaning to an element and can affect how the element is displayed or behaves. HTML attribute. Example, style attribute and title attribute. The style attribute allows you to apply CSS style directly to HTML element. And the title attribute. Title attribute provides the additional information about an element, often displayed as a tooltip when the user hovers over the element.
HTML formatting. HTML formatting elements were designed to display special types of text. B stands for bold text. Strong stands for important text. EM stands for emphasized text. Mark stands for marked text. Small stands for small text. Del stands for delete text. Ins stand for inserted text, and sub stands for subscript text. Sup stand for superscript text. HTML formatting. HTML formatting is the process of styling and structuring text on a web page to make it more visually appealing and easy to read. HTML provides various formatting elements and tags to achieve this. HTML tables. An HTML table is defined with the bracket table bracket tag. Each table rows is defined with the bracket tr bracket tag. A table header is defined with the bracket th bracket tag. By the default, table headings are bold and centered. A table data or cells is defined with the bracket td bracket tag. They can contain all sorts of HTML elements, text, image, list, or other table, etc. HTML tables. HTML tables are used to display data in a tabular format, making it easy to organize and present information in a structured way. A table consists of rows and columns, with each row representing a single entry and each column representing a field or attribute of that entry. Adding a border. Border attribute is used to add border around the table cells. The table attributes of bracket table bracket is not supported in HTML5. Use CSS instead. Adding a border. Adding a border is an HTML element such as paragraph, image, divs, tables, or any other containers. Border can help you visually separate contents, highlight important information, or add aesthetic appeal to a web page. Merging cells. To merge two or more table cells together, use the callspan attribute in a bracket th bracket HTML tag. Merging cells. Merging cells are used for creating complex table layouts, such as combining multiple cells to form a single header, or to display data that spans across multiple rows or columns. This can be useful in presenting data in a more organized and visual appealing way, especially when working with large data or complex information. HTML styles. The HTML styles attribute syntax. HTML style. HTML style refers to the method of applying CSS properties directly within HTML elements to modify their appearance. This is typically done using the style attributes in an HTML tags, which allow you to specify CSS properties and their corresponding values for the specific element. For example, you can change an element background color, font size, or text alignment directly with the HTML code. HTML background color. The background color property defines the background color for an HTML element. HTML background color. Use the CSS background color property to add a background color to an HTML. Put it into a style attribute and change the value to the desired color, name, or code. Then include this style attribute in HTML elements such as heading, span tag, table, or div. HTML text color. The color property defines the text color for an HTML element. HTML text color. In HTML, you can change the text color using the color attribute within the font tag or inline CSS style. The color attribute can accept color names, hexadecimal colors code, or RGB values to specify the desired text color. This allows you to customize the appearance of text on your web page to enhance visual appeal. HTML font. The font family property defines the font to be used for an HTML element. HTML font. The font tag is an HTML element used to specify the font size and color of text. It was introduced in early version of HTML and was widely used until it was deprecated in HTML 4.01 and eventually removed from the HTML specification.
HTML text size. The font size property defines the text size for an HTML element. Example, P style font size 160%. This is a paragraph. HTML text size. The code sets the font size of the paragraph to 160% of the default font size, which makes the font larger and easier to read. The font size property is used to control the size of text in an HTML elements. And in this case, it being used to make the text in the paragraph larger. This code can be used to make text larger and smaller depending on the desired effects. Example, P style font size 160. P stands for paragraph. HTML alignment. The text align property defines the horizontal text alignment for an HTML element. Example, P style text align center. This is a paragraph. HTML table width. Example, table style with 100% table. HTML alignment. The text alignment property in HTML is used to set the horizontal alignment of text within an element. You can align text to the left, right, center, or justify it so that it is spread evenly across the width of the element. Example, P style text alignment center. This is paragraph P. HTML example, table is style with 100% table. Styling HTML with CSS. CSS is standing for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on screen paper or in other media. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. CSS can be added to HTML elements in three ways. Inline, by using the style attribute in HTML elements. 2. HTML, by using style elements in the head section. 3. External, by using an external CSS slide. Next, styling HTML and CSS. Cascading style sheets, involving using CSS rules to control the appearance of HTML elements on a web page. CSS allows to separate the visual design from the structure of your content, making your HTML easier to maintain and your web page more visual appearance. Inline CSS. An inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single HTML element. An inline CSS uses the style attributes of an HTML element. Example, head1 style color blue. This is a blue heading, H1. Inline CSS. Inline CSS refers to the practice of applying CSS styles direct to an HTML element using the style attributes. The style attribute is placed inside an HTML element's opening tag and allows you to style that element individually. In the example code provided, the H1 tag has the style attribute color blue, which means the text inside the H1 tag will be blue. This way, the H1 tag will have a unique style unlike the other elements in the document. Example, H1 style color blue. This is a blue heading, H1. Internal CSS. An internal CSS is used to define a style for a single HTML page. An internal CSS is defined in the head section of an HTML page within a style element. Example, head, style, body, background, color, powder blue, style, head. Internal CSS. An internal CSS or internal style sheet is a way to define a style for a single HTML page. It is defined within the head section of an HTML page inside a style element. The code provided set the background color of all elements in the body of the HTML page to power blue. This is a great way to apply style consistently to an entire HTML page. Example, head, style, body, background, color, powder blue, style, head. External CSS. An external style sheet is used to define the style for many HTML page. With an external style sheet, you can change the look of an entire website by changing one file. To use an external style sheet, add a link to it in the head section of an HTML page. Example, head, link, rel, style sheet, href, style CSS head. External CSS. External CSS is a way of applying CSS style to HTML elements by linking an external style sheet file to an HTML document. This method is advantageous because it allows you to separate the styling from the content, making the HTML cleaner and the CSS reusable across multiple pages. Example, head, link, rel, sheet style, href style, CSS head.
CSS font. The CSS color property defines the text color to be used. The CSS font family property defines the font to be used. The CSS font size property defines the text size to be used. The CSS code provided defines the styling for two elements, H1 and P, in HTML. The H1 element is styled with blue font color, the bandana font family, and a font size of 300%. The P element is styled with a red font color, the courier font family, and a font size of 160%. This code is used to change the appearance of the text on the web page. Border. The CSS border property defines a border around HTML element. The CSS border collapse property can be used to collapse border or outlines around HTML elements such as table, th, or td. This means that multiple borders around the same element will collapse into a single border. The example code sets the border to solid 1px black line and apply the border collapse property to make the borders collapse into a single border. CSS padding and alignment. Cell padding specifies the space between the cell content and its borders. To set the padding, use the CSS padding property. The CSS code provided is used for styling table cells and headers. The CSS padding property is used to define the space between the content inside the cell and its borders. The example code sets the padding in 15 pixels for all the table cells. The CSS text align property is used to align the text inside the table heading to the left. The example code sets the text alignment for table heading to the left.
Teaching and learning activities. Creating personal blog site using WordPress. First, go to www.wordpress.com and register. Second, choose the best theme for your WordPress blog site and be creative. And last, edit the HTML or CSS code for your personal touch if necessary. Create the following posts in order. First, welcome note. Second, my autobiography. You may use your output in the My Autobiography using Microsoft Word.